should I start with any scripting? Obviously, Nilesh did mention so many times that we need a basic level of programming, not programming, like scripting few strings. But then I'm not sure the real scenario will be the same or what they're expecting. And as Kathir mentioned, every job related scenario, if you read in job description, they're asking at least one language to be known. So if you can help us to focus on that.
Sure. I'll try my best. I can see Ashi, over to you. What's happening?
Hi. I haven't done any certification yet. Even I'm struggling with the project. So if I need some help with the project to finish, I'm giving some time. I'm not giving time I should give, but I'm trying to do it. And before I was not liking much AWS. I have learned web development and I like that, but I have made my mind that I have to start anyway with AWS. But yes, I want to use my web development skills with AWS if possible. Otherwise, I'm okay to start AWS. But I think I need. I haven't done much, so I have to give much time, and I think I need some guidance as well to finish the project and all this thing. Yeah.
Right. I think we lost Parimal. He was there. Yeah, Parimal is back. Okay, great. Okay, so who we have? Sandeep. We are just doing a round table to know what is happening. Have you done your certification or not? What you are doing currently in terms of your preparation? Right. So can you please tell us something about that?
Yes, Nilesh bhai, as already messaged you, I done my cloud practitioner last week and I successfully passed it. I'm struggling with project, so I need to hands-on much more to learn more technologies, then I can deal with it. Just want to ask you some questions regarding are we proceed to do AWS or good to do some like a CCNA networking, because I got some job offer for networking side. So I was just wondering at the
I will discuss this on a one-to-one basis with you, Sandeep. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll discuss this once we finish this session. Yeah?
Okay.
For sure. Okay. So right. So let me tell you that I have got 15 years of experience working in SAP as a SAP consultant, and I'm running this IT-trainer.guru since 6+ years now. Since last 2 years, I'm only focusing. I'm no longer a training candidate. I'm just focusing on the mentoring side of it. Right. Over the period of time, I can tell you, I managed to place just in SAP finance module more than 35 candidates. So I can use that experience. I know the subject is a bit different. It is not SAP, but more or less there are some common things which we can discuss here on today's session, which might or might not be useful to you. Right. So first thing first, I would like to tell you that learning the subject on your own, right, at your home is never going to be enough. Right? You can't learn the entire AWS or DevOps. Even if you spend 5 years, you can't learn everything. Right? The most important thing is to get a foot in the door, find a job, right, and get paid to learn new things. Right? As I can see, I was just checking the job board in this time as well, due to Corona or COVID-19. I was searching how many SAP jobs we have, how many AWS jobs we have. So I came across 45 jobs for the keyword SAP, right, for last 7 days on JobServe. Whereas for AWS and DevOps, there were more than 260 jobs. And I put the criteria London. Right? So I'm not suggesting, I'm just giving you the narrative that comparatively AWS and DevOps is not that bad as we are struggling at the moment in the SAB area. Now, as I mentioned, it's never going to be enough, that you can't learn the entire subject on your own, right? So what are the things which we can do so that we can land into a first AWS or DevOps engineer job? That is what we are going to discuss today, right? So what I believe is there are a couple of milestones, right? In order to get a break, get your first job, right? There are a couple of milestones we need. The first milestone is you need to have a practical, decent hands-on training, right? So at least you know the concept, you know the basics. You should have a good basic stroke intermediate level knowledge, right? You can't become expert, right? Learning something for 6 months is never going to be enough, right? Also, we provide you a retraining option. If you're not happy with the first round, you can always rejoin the next batch, right? And I was having this conversation with Nilesh, and I kind of said that we need to convert more success stories, right? We need more success stories for the betterment of our organization, right? And hence why we have to start these sessions, and we have to get this momentum going. Right. So that's we unanimously agreed, and we are here to help you on that. So you had a training, the repeat option is there. Nilesh has encouraged you to go for certification. So if you have certification, well and good. If you have not done it, please try to do it in next couple of weeks or month. Right. So in terms of milestone, you have a decent hands-on training, plus you have a certification. Now, what else you need? Let's say if you imagine yourself sitting in front of the interviewer, and the interviewer is asking you the questions, right? So before you sit in front of him, why the interviewer will select you as a candidate, right? And even when once you're sitting in front of him or her, why he will hire you, right? So what he's looking for a CV with the bullet points of the core skill which is on demand in AWS DevOps segment. Right? So you need to have a CV. The biggest problem in the industry is the industry is not willing to entertain any newbies. So that's the most unfortunate thing. So we have to start from somewhere. So at least you have to have some experience on your CV. So since you guys have done a project with us, right, on successful completion of the project, we can help you with your initial experience on your CV using our consulting companies, right? So the idea is we can slightly prolong that experience and make it look like maybe 6 months, 1 year, or 1.5 year of experience, which we can display on your CV, right? So the idea behind that is we are giving the impression to the interviewer that yes, I have a decent knowledge, I am certified, plus I have something to start with, right? I'm not an expert engineer, someone who has got 3 to 4 years or 5 years of experience, but I have a decent knowledge, right? With that expectation, he's starting the interview, right? Don't think that he will expect you to know everything, right? He has got your CV, right? You are certified by the company who has invented that software. So he will know that you have some knowledge, right? Plus, on top of that, you have done a project, right? So you will have some knowledge about the project. Plus, you have a CV to back you up with maybe 1 year or 1.5 year or 6 month experience, whatever, you know, whatever makes you feel comfortable with, right? Now, the thing is, I'm talking about milestones. So first milestone is practical hands-on training. Second milestone is certification. Third milestone is CV with experience and reference, which can be backed up by reference, right? Now let's say you have a CV. a well-designed CV, which has got most of the bullet points which require for you to shortlist your CV, right? So you have that CV, you are going in the market with that CV, your CV will get shortlisted, you will be talking with the recruitment agent, the recruitment agent will shortlist you as a candidate and schedule your initial telephonic interview, right? So in that process, what else is needed? What are the other milestones, right? So I explain this particular concept to my candidate as there are three stages: quarterfinal, semi-final, and final. Right? Quarterfinal is when you approach the recruitment agents. Right? So what they are looking for? Yes, candidate is certified. He's claiming the knowledge with all these bullet points. Right? Plus he has got experience working with this XYZ company. Right? Then he will start talking with you. Right? So you will have sort of your introductory speech where you are explaining, yes, I'm AWS DevOps consultant. I have done a project. I have done certification. I have a knowledge. Get me to the interview stage. I won't let you down. Right? So you will start talking with the different agencies. The agency will forward your CV. Right? Now, once you have a telephonic interview with the candidate, two things you need. Right? One is you should have a list of most common technical interview questions, right, which I already spoke with Nilesh. He is going to prepare one and he will share it with you. Right. Second thing is you need to have a scenario-based answers, right? Like if I have to ask you, what have you done in the project, right? So if you have, let's say, 1 year experience in your CV with XYZ company, and the interviewer is asking you what exactly you have done, what sort of framework you have created, what sort of automation you have done, right? What sort of infrastructure you have created, what are the challenges you have faced. So you should be able to correlate the experience which you have shown and describe in a manner that you have actually done that kind of work practically, right? So again, I will reiterate what I have just said. Number one, you need to have a list of technical interview question and answer. Second, you need to have this scenario-based answers about the project, challenges, issues which you have encountered, how you mitigate those problems, right? That kind of stories, right? Now, with this, if you start, I think on top of that, what we can do, we can also give you access to our interview simulation software, right? I think by end of this month, we are doing some updates on that software to make it better. But hopefully by end of first week of July, I should be able to give you an access with the AWS and DevOps interview questions. Right? You will have an answer as well, but you can use this tool as a rehearsal tool because sometimes you have an answer in your head, but when it comes to explaining the same answer, right, your head and your tongue will go out of sync. You will feel that you are not able to describe in a manner which you should have. Right? So that's why we can help you with this interview simulation tool as well. So this is a quite high level of plan which I'm thinking we should address. Now, you have to put your best foot forward. You can't prepare throughout your life sitting at home that I will get ready for the job. I don't have enough knowledge. You're always having that notion, right? So now this is the time to change a gear and think that I need a job, right? I need a job with whatever knowledge I have. I will keep on learning new things, but I want to land myself in a particular job, right? So there are jobs where they are paying maybe daily rate are 600-700 pounds. There are jobs where they are paying 35, 40, 45. Right? And as you know, to address what Jigar was mentioning, sometimes what happen if my current income maybe 35K, and if I'm getting a role where I can learn something, right? And that job is paying about 30, 32K. So for a short period of time, there is no harm accepting such role if you know that that experience is going to be valuable and in a matter of year or two, you can cross 50K or 45K mark, which you will struggle to do in your own area, right? So that is also there. So the high level plan is you had a training, please do your certification. If you have not done it, right, then we will help you with the CV. We will share you a couple of CV templates before we have the next session, right? I'll share you a couple of CV templates. Try to find the common narratives amongst all the job role which has been advertised, right? I have heard what you have said. There are many roles where they are also asking for programming knowledge, but I'm sure there are roles where they are not asking those things, right? So we have to start from somewhere. We have to find, we have to have solution-driven thinking. I mean, in terms of landing into our first job. So if you have not done certification, do the certification. CV templates will be shared. Interview questions will be shared. Project, if you need any further help on the project, will be provided. Right? I will do your experience references based on whatever we have mentioned on the CV, and we can start the interview rehearsal. And we will keep having this sort of mentoring session. I mean, since I have zero knowledge about the subject, I can't help you technically, but I will discuss and will remain constant in touch with Nilesh if required. If we need additional help from someone else, that also I will arrange. Right. So this is a quite high level of plan. So I just want to know from you, what do you think of it?
I'm happy with that, Sam. That's what I wanted to get something from you and Nilesh. I also already mentioned that Nilesh did help me and he's always helping me. But as you also said that we have to step up, which I wasn't doing, but I'm sure that I will be trying by my best. Thanks for that.
No problem. Any thoughts from Kathir, Parimal?
You are right actually. So for stepping into first level of AWS and DevOps job, no, I think we should not worry about the salary. We should take that risk actually, but for some time we have to struggle. But at the end of the after 6 months or 1 year, definitely, I'm sure that we will be end up in a very comfortable zone. So, but in terms of your plan, I think in high level, what you are saying is like listing of the technical questions, scenario based. I think that simulator, I think those kind of things also will help us definitely.
Yeah.
And also CV, yeah.
Definitely.
CV, yeah.
I'll be sharing the CV templates before we have the next session.
Yeah. And one more thing, the project which we are doing with Nilesh, right? So how we are going to have it in our CV, that is more important because we did a good amount of work. Means we did good knowledge in that. So how to project in our CV?
See, I'll tell you, I'm currently developing two separate applications. They are both cloud-based applications. So you can mention my products as well on your CV, right? So the first application I have is Let Me Know, which is similar to Gumtree, right?
Okay.
So it is a mobile application and Android and iOS as well as a website, which has been hosted on AWS. Right.
Okay.
So you can explain this as a project, that this was the project and this you were there working up the infrastructure on AWS, doing load balancing, right? You were using different tools like excuse me, I don't have much knowledge about those tools, but things like Jenkins, Jira you have used, or for GitLab you were using this. That sort of. So based on the knowledge you have, and you can also ask Nilesh to help you, right?
Yeah.
Say what you have to say, that what you've been doing in the project with the knowledge you have acquired, and ask him to correct you. Like how we should describe in a structured manner, right? And how we can explain this with a proper scenario.
Okay.
So that's the idea. The other product I have is the same interview simulation tool, mymockinterview.com. As we speak, we have just created a demo version on Android, And also we are creating Windows and Mac version as well. Right? So the
Okay.
product should go live by end of July, hopefully. So that's what we are expecting. Right? Likewise, we can find many products. I have a friend who also have his own application on cloud, which is for what do you call it? The point collecting loyalty system, a customer loyalty system,
Okay.
where customer he can sell his product to shops or restaurant, where they don't have to publish loyalty card using his mobile application. Right? They can generate loyalty system. They can also offer discount schemes to their customers. So that product also we can briefly discuss. I can invite him. He can explain you how it works functionally, and then hypothetically you can imagine what would go behind the scene to make that happen in terms of setting up the infrastructure, right? And yeah, and then you can start discussing with this Nilesh, as well as try to find. I mean, you can do some additional reading in terms of reading the blogs, how it happens, right? What are the common challenges? What are the common issues? Anybody else wants to comment on what I have said? I mean, in last 20-25 minutes. Parima, Naveen,
Yeah. Hi,
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 Sam. Yeah,
Parima.
it's a good idea, look like, because since what Kathir said and what you mentioned, like since March and we are just keep learning, like anything, whatever from the either YouTube or going in the Google and whatever project we are doing, but it's a time for us to now push ourselves for the job, and then we can keep learning more. So this looks like an idea. Only one dilemma at the moment, like because when you I'm not from the IT, I done my engineering, but I'm in the management side of all. So there are two side of the stories we heard. Like first story is that when you go as a junior DevOps engineer, there are nearly 100 ops or 50 new DevOps engineers, and they just do 3 months installation and everything, and they can train you everything on your own, and that way you can progress yourself. Another side of story is that they can keep you on the probation period for 3 or 4 months, and if they find that you are not value for company, then they can get rid of you in the probation period. So question is that to let me give you the example of the Git. We know only 6 or 7 commands of the Git. We know only maximum 10 commands of the Docker. In the interview, we can crack the interview, but in the real time scenario, when they're gonna give us, okay, now you need to run the Docker via AWS, via Jenkins, and you need to do all this. So will it be like something like that, or will they give us the training for that as well? Because we
Yeah, go on. Once you finish your question, I'll.
Yeah, but because at the moment we know only basic things like about AWS as well. What you said about load balancing and everything. Yes, we know the concept and we know the fundamentals. Like we done the project, the cloud formation, just recently with the Nilesh, where we done the cloud formation with the AWS and all. But we never done the Lambda function, S3 function. We never done the load balancing on our own, how that works. And when we are talking about the real-time job scenario, that there may be 50 servers and they will ask you, okay, you need to do this and that. So will it be like that? That's a confusion and the discomfort I'm having at the moment, because I don't want myself, because I've been in the management since 20 years now, and to crack the interview is not a big issue. Yes, if you can give us a scripting and everything, we can crack the interview. But in the real-time scenario, I don't want like after 3 months where I can. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can go on now. Yeah,
I got your point. See, first
yeah,
thing first, you have not more than 1.5 years of experience in your CV. So your
yeah,
employees knows that very well what to expect from you. So he will know that you are beginner stroke intermediate level candidate, right? And I'll share you couple of examples of my students. So I have trained many candidates, out of which I was doing this sort of mentoring sessions and doing interview rehearsals, and they have that experience. With SAP, unfortunately, it has to be minimum 4 years of experience, right? Which you guys don't need that much, around 1.5, 2 years should be good enough to get a foot in the door. Now, surprisingly, there are candidates who managed to get their first job as a contractor, right? Where their day rate was 500 plus, right? And I have many instances like this. Now they got a job. They did what I told them to do in terms of, we had an interview preparation script about 26 pages, right? Where we have highlighted everything, like how to introduce yourself, what was your role in the project, what are the challenges you come across, what are the improvements you have done in order to make the system run better. Right? So there are many questions like this, scenario-based question, technical question. So they have rehearsed and they managed to crack an interview. Then I have to, they have, I'm talking about the people, they never worked in IT. So they don't know how the IT setup is like in the office environment, right? So I have to run a separate sessions for them, that how to survive your probation period, because they don't know things like how to take a screenshot using a snipping tool, right? Or how to schedule a meeting invite using Outlook. That sort of level they were in, right? So, and one thing I can tell you is, in IT, what I believe in my sort of area is, in 90 plus percentage, nobody will expect you to do things there and then. So what will happen? See, getting a job, it's like a catching a running bus, right? If you have ever tried catching a running bus, you have to run along with the bus and then you have to jump it. You have to match the speed of the bus first, and then you can jump on, right? So that's how it works. So now, if you want to get a job, if you have joined a job, right, and we will help you based on the job description they have mentioned and what you have heard on the interview, you will have a time gap, maybe week or 15 days or a month, right? In that time gap, we can do an additional preparation. You can also do your own research, see what are the specific things which they are looking for, and you can have an extra additional session, right, by Nilesh, or you can also do some self learning, right? And once you are there, every day, I know the people whom I have placed, they do 9 to 5 job. As soon as they come home, they have to spend additional 2 3 hours at home in the evening to get ready for the next day. Whatever they have heard throughout the day, some things, let's say they know 50% thing, and 50% thing they have a vague understanding of it. So when they come home and get prepared for the next day, they do their own research, right? And then they, so that is there. So the first thing first is, you are not going there as an experienced DevOps engineer, somebody like Nilesh, or who has 5 plus years of experience, or maybe more than that, right? So the employer would know that, okay, you have 1.5 year of experience, right? You have mentioned the bullet point, and you always get that breathing space, right? At the same time, you can also do a self learning. Also, you have to stretch yourself, right? That's the way to learn initially. If you are doing your job, you might have to spend some extra hours on your own to get ready for the next day. So that's what the candidate who got into SAP environment, that's what they used to do. But what I would like to request you, I know the question you have raised is a genuine question, but don't always look for the threats, right? Always also look for the opportunities, right? I can tell you my experience. I got trained in SAP in 2006, right? And we were all strugglers. We were trying to find a job, right? And I know someone who is been doing contracting since almost 8 9 years now, right? And I can tell you, with that 8-9 years of experience, if you ask him, he says, I have a very little knowledge. He says, anyone who has got 2-3 years of experience in SAP, they know more than me, right? So sometimes it's not always a pressure cooker wherever you join, right? There are lots of ifs and buts. So don't think just, you are too much into what you don't have, right? You always, we are being upfront. We said we have 1.5 years of experience, right? And we are willing to get our hands dirty. We will put that extra effort. But there are so many things. Corporate politics is there. The project is there. Sometimes I have done the contract. I'm just trying to give you the positive side of things, right? Where I wanted to work, they have paid me 12, 14 months salary, and I hardly have got anything to do. I was hardly spending 1 or 2 hours in a day, right? For that contract work. I was literally getting bored, right? So there are lots of things. So you should not think too much about what you don't have. I mean, it's good to know all these things, but again, I will say the same thing. You can't prepare for everything sitting at home. You have to start somewhere, right? I hope I'm trying to, I'm making sense here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you are right, Sam. Yeah, yeah.
yes, Sam, you are right. Because going advanced is another thing, but staying with what we learned and sticking with what we learned, and we going forward with the next level to the interview, no? I think that is better way of staying waiting whether what to do. Yeah,
See,
and your example is right. Cracking the interview is like you're running, going behind a running bus.
I'll tell you an example of a guy. I don't mind mentioning his name. His name was Jayesh Manjure. Uh, So what he used to do, I have trained him. He had a basic knowledge, right? And he knew for sure that he wants to, and he was sure that I don't want to do a permanent job. I want to start as a contract. He was a confident communicator. He has worked in corporate environment, so he knows how to deal with corporate politics, right? So what used to happen in the job spec, he will find something. The candidate should know credit management and should be able to configure this, which he has never heard of. So immediately he starts Googling it, go through some blog, go through some video, right? He says, my standard preparing hour is between 2 to 8 hours. Right? So he will try to get the gist of it, and he will add a couple of bullet points in his CV according to whatever fresh knowledge he has acquired. Right? And he was claiming that he has those skills and he used to apply. Right? And that's how he was getting the breaks. Right? As we speak, I mean, his day rate is is 20% higher than mine. Right? Though he was my student. So that is also there. Right? So sometimes if something is emerging technology, right? Nobody knows. Even I can tell you, we recently went live with HANA Cloud, right? Where I used to work as a contractor. And the company chose the best company who can implement this HANA Cloud, and that too SAP itself. Right? The project was meant to go live in 9 months. Right? We were 50% over budget, and it took almost 2 years to complete. Right? So even the company did not have those people. There are a lot of trial and error. We were like guinea pigs for SAP as well, right? So you will come across many scenarios like this. As long as your willingness is there, you have claimed that okay, I'm 1.5 years experience there. You should know what to expect from me, right? As well as at the same time, I'm ready to get my hands dirty. I'm ready to get the additional training. At the same time, I will have my own initiative to learn new things, right? When I come home, maybe I might spend an hour or two getting ready for the next day, right? So that approach, that attitude is required, right? Sometimes that shift on the attitude makes a whole difference, right? So there is a saying called, attitude decides your altitude, right? So you might be a genius, right? You might be a perfectionist, but if you are too much defensive, that might it might backfire. So what I'm trying to tell you, see, again, going back to my experience, I'll tell you a guy who has been trained, and he started with 4 years of experience, right? And he was not doing SAP finance, he was doing SAP HR module, but he was a good friend of mine. So he applied for a job, and he got a face-to-face interview, and he was sitting in front of the interviewer. The interviewer has asked, the companies, because in SAP you have to have 4 or 5 years. He said, the companies which you have mentioned, those companies I have also worked during the same time. How come we don't know each other, right? So he was trying to make sense. I mean, he was trying to give a sensible answer. By the time he turned the second page, and he got shocked of that CV, and he said, "Oh, this is my CV, right?" So why am I giving this example? This guy is right now working as a team lead at Cognizant. Right? That experience did not put him down. Right? See, at the end of the day, we want a better life for ourselves and our family. We are putting the time, effort, and money to learn something new, right? But the industry is not willing to entertain newbies, so we are trying to bridge that gap with this project, or with the additional learnings which we have to do, or interview preparation, or scenario-based answer, right? So that we can land somewhere, right? Hope I'm making sense here, guys. Any questions? Hello, hello. I hope my audio was not muted.
No, no, definitely not. We are stunned by your answers. Yeah. No, it is definitely, you're right. But if we go for some kind of we are giving some example. Okay, so if you're applying for a junior role,
Sorry to cut you here, Kathir. You can say what you are going to say, but I can tell you one thing. I am not. We are not sending you, in borders to fight the enemies, right? It's not a life and death situation. In worst case scenario, you won't crack an interview, you won't get a job. And I have hardly seen anyone that who has started the job and they cannot survive a probation period. With whatever we are mentioning, we are not claiming 5 years of experience as a DevOps engineer, right? And that can happen to your current job as well. Due to COVID, companies have shredded so many jobs, right? If my employer decides they don't want me, even though I'm performing very well, they can make me redundant anytime, right? So we cannot plan as per the exceptions. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
yeah. This one maybe we'll come to the point. This LinkedIn also, because we were currently in the current job, right? How I need to manage this to 1.5 to 1.5 years with this experience of currently what I have. Is there any better idea?
That's a very valid question. Yeah.
Yeah, and what was in my mind is like, see, we are ILR, so I can do contracting. So I was doing parallelly that and this in the weekends, like that we can manage, or how, because they should believe, right? So because we should not remove our old experiences.
Depends. See, there are two ways. Not
Yeah.
everyone is updating their LinkedIn every single day, right?
Yeah, you're right.
If I get a new contract, right, and once I land into that contract, not on the first day I will start updating my LinkedIn profile, right? Even people even they are working for 2 years, nobody wants the other people to know where exactly you are currently working, right? That you will only tell to the recruitment agent. If the recruitment agent asks them, like, okay, in your CV, it is suggesting you are working for XYZ, and as per your LinkedIn, it is suggesting ABC, right? Then they
Yeah.
will say ABC was a previous experience, then I joined XYZ, which I have not updated on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Because people, try to, let's say, if I'm a recruitment agent, I have personally placed you once or twice, right? Then if I know you are working on XYZ company, I'll directly approach you. And I'll tell you who is your hiring manager, right? What is his contact detail? And then I will approach him for more business, right? Hence why people have a legitimate reason not to update their LinkedIn profile immediately, right? That's how, what you can do, you can always have 1.5 years of experience which you can update on your LinkedIn. That is not a problem. Right? The second option is, if it is not, if it is completely irrelevant, you can start from scratch. You can delete your old profile and create a new profile, right?
Yeah.
From a scratch. That is also there.
Mm.
But yes, nowadays I can tell you more than 50%. I'm talking in terms of SAP. Not sure about AWS there, but around 50% jobs are directly getting published into LinkedIn. Right?
Mm.
It is good to have a LinkedIn account, right? And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can definitely update it, backdate it for 1 year, 1.5 year, or 2 years. That is not a problem.
Okay.
And the good thing is, I know due to this current situation, due to COVID, there are lots of projects are on hold. The economy is trying to recover, right? But if you see the adversity in the opportunities, there are a lot of consulting companies who are sending their consultants from, especially from India to Europe. That is going to stop for a period of time. Right? So there will be a trend to hire local candidates. Right?
There will be another one also, like since we are going as a new thing, so now it will be mostly remote working, right? So for next at least 6 months, I'm not expecting we'll be back. Suppose if we get a job on August 1st, okay, so from August till year end, I think we'll be doing the remote. So we'll be, but at least if we go to the office, we'll have some interaction with the other guys and we'll come to know what is happening and we'll get some support from the other team. But now we'll be left out with that is another thing which I think other guys I also agree on this one. So suppose if we are going with saying we have good experience, and once we are there, I think we'll be left out with we have to do by ourselves everything. So which I felt it will be challenging, right?
Well, don't worry about that. Find a job, I will help you. Right?
Yeah.
That because no matter what assurance I will give you verbally, it will
Yeah.
never be enough, right? I'll tell you, I know somebody who is a freelancer. What he's doing currently is in US. He is bidding for the project, winning the project, and getting things done from India, right, in Bangalore, right. So he was saying that if how the subcontracting works. So let's say if the Bank of America has got a smaller project, right, which is less than certain value, and their preferred supplier is companies like Accenture or Capgemini, right? Accenture doesn't want to do it, right? It's not a good revenue for them, right? Maybe it's a very big revenue for us, maybe 5-10 million, right? In that case, they have subcontractors. So Accenture will not say no to the business, but they will say, okay, we will do it, but they have a subcontract. They will pass on to the subcontractor, right? The subcontractor will hire the contractors, right? The contractors will crack the interview, right? And he was saying the candidates are sitting in US, the contractors, and they will also hire their own contractors back in Hyderabad or Bangalore or Chennai, right? So what I'm trying to tell you, it's a dodgy trade. I'm not encouraging you to go down to, this is just to give you that confidence. I'm using this as an example, right? But let's say if I get a contract and if I'm doing a remote work, if I'll be getting 500 pounds per day, I will hire someone in India, right? I will do the subcontracting, like do this work, and I will do the admin part, right? So that he was suggesting that that is quite common,
But
right?
I thought the GDPR will not allow that one. I know that previously people are doing from Hyderabad, they get some support.
No, they are not supposed to do it. It's written in their contract, right?
Okay.
It's a dodgy trade, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is, see, there are ways to do it. It's if you think in a way that if you need to get a help, right, from Nilesh, if you're
Yeah.
working remotely,
Yeah.
you can go to his place and you can ask him to help you
Okay.
for a couple of hours, right? Nobody can stop you, which you can't do it while you are in the office, right? Or you can hire someone who is an experienced. Don't share your system with him, your company laptop, but explain him the scenario sitting at home, and he will tell you what exactly you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it is better in a way.
Yeah. 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 Thanks. Thanks, Sam.
Sam, just a quick question on LinkedIn. Is it must to have a LinkedIn account?
It is good to have, not
Good to
must,
have.
but yeah, it is very, very useful.
But useful in terms of getting jobs, right?
Yeah, as I said, there are 30 to overall, overall job share, 30 to 50% jobs nowadays get published on LinkedIn. It's better to have. You can create, see, if you already have one profile, you can create a separate profile as well. Use your nickname. Right? Don't have a picture there. At least you will get a call. Right? Have a separate phone number. At least you will get a call, email messages, right? And then you can
Okay.
approach the recruitment agents directly. So the trend is, do you know how much recruitment agencies are charging on permanent and the contracting role? What is the average percentage rate? Any thoughts? No idea.
Sorry, which one? Sorry, I lost the question.
How much the recruitment agents are charging to the company for recruitment, for permanent recruitment or contract recruitment?
It's either 3 months of salary or 10% of annual salary, something like that.
Yeah,
In our management, it's like that.
the most common practice is 20% of annual salary. So if they are hiring someone for 50K, 10,000 pound plus VAT. If it is a contract employee, then 15% on the day rate. If they are paying the candidate 500 pound, we will be charging 575 to the client, right? So hence why a lot of companies, they are directly publishing the adverts on LinkedIn where they can see the candidate, search for the candidate. Now LinkedIn has a tool called Sales Navigator, right? That is also quite useful for them. So yeah, it is very good to have LinkedIn account. Any further questions? I was about to say something. I completely forgot. There was something very important. Let me let me remind myself. But feel free to ask any question if you have by the time. Yes, I managed to remember it now. So see, if you have worked in IT, it is fine. But if you have not worked in IT, and once you start looking for a job, the recruitment agent will try to play trick with you. If they will ask questions like, is there anything in the pipeline, or is there anywhere where I should not send or forward your CV, right? So what they are trying to do, they are using you as a tool to find out who else is advertising the roles. Because normally why the company choose the recruitment agents, so that they won't get harassed by other recruitment agents, right? That is also one of the reasons, right? So they will try to know from you that where you have been applying, who is the company, so that they can directly approach you. So don't fall victim on those things, right? So what you need to tell the agency is, I'm not disclosing any information. Like whatever you will discuss with me, I'm not going to share with anyone. Or you can say there isn't anything in the pipeline. Or you can say I have got few things in the pipeline, but my professional ethics does not allow me to share. Like whatever we discussed today, I'm not going to share with anybody else. And with you, it is not going to be a problem, but in SAP, they used to ask with a candidate who has got 4 or 5 years of experience, they ask things like, we have never come across your name before. So that is not going to be the case with you, since you guys have limited amount of experience, 1.5 years. So that is not a problem. So what I'm trying to suggest here is put your best foot forward, right, and go for it. And hope for the best. I mean, don't think the flaws, look for the opportunities, right? Opportunity in terms of learning new things, opportunities in terms of work-life balance, opportunity in terms of having a decent earning. Right? So, what we will do going forward, I'm recording this session. If you want, I can share this session. I will upload it in YouTube. Right? I will share it privately. And also I will liaise with Nilesh. So what we need to give you is CV template, interview question answers. Right? And when you have a next session, what you should be discussing with Nilesh is whatever we have done in the project, how we can explain this in a structured manner. Right? How we can give scenario-based answer if we have to explain this to the interviewer. Right? So once you have your certification done, your CV done with 1.5 years or 1 year or 6 months experience, you have your interview question and answer, scenario-based project work you have done. Do your own rehearsal. You can use your mobile device as well. I'll give you my software. That is not a problem. But you can sit in front of the mirror. You can use your mobile device. If you think that I don't need rehearsal, then I think that is a big mistake, right? Now, if you see, you become good at what you practice. Interview skills are no different, right? As you practice more, it goes in your subconscious mind. So if I will wake you up 2 o'clock midnight, you will be able to give the same answer with a lot of confidence, and that too in a structured manner, right? So interview rehearsal is also must, right? So the plan is going forward, we will schedule another session. If not in a 1 week's time, maybe every fortnight, we will have this sort of catch-up session, right? And yes, as you guys know that we are starting the Kubernetes training from tomorrow, 10 a.m., right? And for existing student, we are offering this course on 300 pounds. Right? So we advertise this as a 1,500 pound 70% discount. That's so that 70% discount comes to 450. But for existing student, we are charging 300 pound. So probably it is 10 to 12 pound per hour, sort of, which is less than you might be paying for your kids' tuition fee. Right? So this is something also I can suggest you if you think you want to learn Kubernetes, which is very much in demand nowadays. Right? Also, if somebody can write or volunteer the actions what we discussed today. So actions are CV templates, interview questions. Right? On the next session, you should be discussing scenario-based answers. Right? And if you think I have missed anything, or also feel free if you have any questions we can address. But the idea is you have to shift your gear. Right? Again, I would say the same thing. You can't prepare for everything sitting at home. You have to put your best foot forward. Hope for the best. Don't think that all the negative things will happen to you once you land into AWS job. Right? We are here to help you. If you get stuck, trust me, we will help you. Right? You won't be left alone. Right? You have that basic knowledge. 1.5 years of experience you have. Right? Nobody will ask you to take a rocket to the moon. Right? So don't worry about that. Okay, guys. I hope you found this session useful.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Sam. Very useful indeed.
Yeah, this is just to get them more, it's like before the war, the journal has to boost the morale of all the soldiers, right? The similar role I'm trying to play here, right? I'll try my best, though it is not my subject, but yeah, this is the most important thing. Your attitude will define your altitude, right? So put your best foot forward, go for it. Channel your energies looking for opportunities, right? So see for the opportunities. Don't look for always for the threat. We will see to it. If there are any problems, we are here to help you. We are not over promising anything. See, if you have a 10 bullet points in your CV, at least you should have 6 to 7 bullet points which you know. Let's say some 3 bullet points you have added for which you have seen the YouTube or Udemy video or read somewhere here and that. That is fine, right? If you have to perform on those 3 topics while you're working in the actual job, we can do additional training, extra help from someone. We can manage that. Right? Nice. With this, I'm done. Hope you like today's session, and we will have further sessions like this on a regular basis until you guys get a job. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks a lot.
All right, Sam. Thank you. It's
No
very
problem.
Thanks, Sam.
motivational. Thanks.
Cheers. Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Sam. Cheers.
No
Bye.
worries.
Bye.
Take care. Have a great
Thank
one.
you, Sam.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
No worries.